I think this list surprised a lot of people, Matt. Again, you said on the top of the list is Buffalo, New York.
Yeah.
And so people are like, Buffalo, New York is going to be the hottest housing market. It's not Miami. It's not Tampa. It's not, it's all these Phoenix, all these hot housing markets. And then the whole list, number 2, Cincinnati, Ohio. Number 3, Columbus, Ohio. Number 4, Indianapolis, Indiana. And then 5, Providence, Rhode Island. You have to get through the top 5 before you can start to see some names of markets that you would have been on the list. Atlanta, Charlotte, and then Cleveland, Orlando, Tampa. So I think this report, I've seen a lot of people share it and talk about it because it was surprising. And what this is indicating is, again, house formation is good for renting and buying. Just as if people are going to be buying houses in that market, people are also going to be renting apartments or houses in that market. And they're basically saying we're not going to see a decline in housing prices. Which we're likely to see, further rent growth at all, because they're correlated. Not exactly, and there's other factors obviously that go into it. But these markets are going to stay tight for a while now.
Yeah, and one thing they don't have here on this little table, they have home value, mortgage payment, typical rent, and the days on market, which is fine. But they also, one of the criteria was the number of jobs opening per residential home permitted. So they're looking at the single family homes that get permits, and they are measuring that against the difference or the job growth for a particular market. Now, I tried to kind of like back of the napkin look on just publicly available BLS and census data, and I figured out something that was pretty interesting for Buffalo specifically. Yeah. So Buffalo, they have their number of residential permits issued is like 1,200. Compare that to Indianapolis is like 12,000.
Yeah.
And so
they're just not building. Yeah, they're not building as much.
Just not building that much.
Well, that's where supply is so important.
Yeah.
It's such an important variable that it's easy to get to just focus on the demand side, which is obviously critical and important if you don't have the demand, but the supply is equally as important. And if there's a mismatch there, that can be much more impactful, and it leads to a lot of confusion and misinvestment.
Yeah.
From folks who are saying, "Have you seen how many people are moving there?" And that's what they're going to go on. Have you seen how many people move? Have you seen the United Van Lines report? Everybody's moving to that market. Yeah. And they also just built 15,000 new apartments, and there's only going to be 5,000 new people that are going to be renting them. There's going to be 10,000. I'm exaggerating, but there's going to be some discounts in the market because people are going to try to lease up these apartments. So it's you can, and often it's because the signals for demand are so early and leading, and these projects take a long time, and everyone is often, or many investors or developers will have kind of the same idea about the same market. Like, what's all going to the same little sub-market. So instead of where it needs...
They kind of come in waves sometimes.
They come in waves. So instead of like the 500, 600 units, the submarket needs end up building, 2,000 units.
Yeah. I've noticed in again, just covering how variable these lists are, whether it's Zillow, United Van Lines, or U-Haul, you'll see variable markets in general. There's so much variation, and, the story of each market, where they're what stage they are at, and how many people are building houses at that moment, that's going to change from year to year. So there's always going to be variation, and it's never going to be the same kinds of variation. So it's a good reminder to know that, like, yes, for all this talk of 2024 being, a little bit more subdued, or you're going to have the, efficiency struggles, like the bubbling and volatility in terms of like the market differences is ripe for opportunity, I think. So that there's room to strike, even in this kind of uncertain area. There's clear differences. Yeah. And, for people that are able to find that place, I think that's...
Yeah, I think it starts getting excited. Yeah. You ready to switch over to this NAR report?
This beautiful map, for sure.
So county median home prices and monthly mortgage payment. Matt, so you're going to have to explain to folks not only watching, but folks listening, what we are looking at. I'm seeing a map of the United States with colors for counties. What's going on here?
So the deeper red you get is it goes up to $1 million, over $1 million is the average home value, the median home value for a given market. So Teton County, Wyoming, is a large county in Wyoming that includes the Grand Tetons National Park, Yellowstone National Park, and in Jackson Hole, and the median home price there is $1,100,093.160. A lot of money. $1.2 million essentially to live in. It's the median price. Now, there are other clear winners when it comes to home values, like Santa Clara County and in San Mateo County.
You're saying it like this is a good thing.
Well,
the winners.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well,
I'm joking. They're sure they can get a prize. They can get a prize.
The top ranked, the most expensive housing markets are these West Coast cluster of San Francisco adjacent markets, Bay Area, yeah. and this market in Wyoming, and then you've got to go all the way across to the northeast where there's two small islands, the island of Nantucket. And Nantucket County, and
it's too small for even my mouth.
I know. Yeah, and there's Dukes County. They're both in Massachusetts, and they both have $1 million plus homes. And then the other one you can't even see. That's because
of Pilgrims.
Well, yeah, sure.
Whaling,
the whaling industry.
They've been there for a while. It's the whaling.
Deep-pocketed whaling. And then you can't even see
the whaling industrial complex.
The island of Manhattan. That's the other one. I don't even know if you'll be able to hover over it.
I'm not going to be able to click.
Yeah, but that's all to say that it's rare to get a county that has over $1 million houses, and they're not everywhere. It's not in Seattle, it's not in Phoenix, and it's not in Austin or even really in Miami. Such as the variability of those counties, but it's just not there. What is also noticeable, and I noted this before, is these cluster of very expensive, high value counties around the mountains, the Salt Lake City, Denver, Colorado,
ski towns,
and maybe it's because these are large counties, so it looks a little bit bigger, because I'm sure that population is spread across a lot bigger area than is, and specifically for Teton County, that is, most of that space in that county is taken up by Yellowstone, Grand Tetons, the Bridger Teton National Forest, and you can't build a beautiful luxury apartment community on the banks of Lake Yellowstone. You just can't do it. You can't build like a 390 unit Class A multifamily property, maybe has like an outdoorsy feel and it's drawing in these high work from home value, like really top of the line. You can't build that right on top of a geyser, but
because they won't let you build
it. They just won't let you.
Won't let you. Well, yeah, probably not.
Yeah.